So here's the card. I actually used the Stampin' Up inks to color this card. So first I'm going to emboss the card with white embossing powder. I'll start with the embossing buddy. The embossing buddy helps get any fingerprints or other oils off your paper so that the powder, the embossing powder, only sticks to where you have stamped the Versamark ink. So here's the Versamark ink, and I like to do this upside down. So I'm just going to ink this up all over really well. And I'm going to place this down on top. Use my bone folder to really get everything nice and inked up. I'm just going to kind of go around the edges, and then I'm going to put this aside, and I'm going to bring over my white embossing powder, and I always put it in a little bin so that it's not messy. It doesn't get everywhere, it just stays in my bin. And I'm just going to liberally pour it all over. All right, so now that I've got the powder all over, I'm going to use my heat tool to emboss it. The heat is going to melt the embossing powder. Okay, so I think I've got that all embossed. It takes a little while because there's so much to emboss. So now I'm going to start with this large rose in the middle, and I'm going to use some gorgeous grape, and I'm going to grab my aqua painter, and I'm just going to go ahead and get just a little bit of it and just kind of define my edges here a little bit so I can see where I'm going to color. Here, here. Get a little bit more ink here. And it helps to have one that's already done so you can see kind of where the boundaries are. Now I'm just going to go in and just get everything a nice shade of a pale purple. And what's fun is I can just be messy because the embossing powder keeps everything separate. Now the fun part is going back in with dark, and you see how the water takes care of creating the light and dark, blending the light and dark together. So I'm working kind of quickly before the water dries, but if it dries, it's okay. You can go back and re-wet it. I'm watercoloring on shimmery white paper because it does really well with watercoloring, and it can hold up to the water, and it's also fun to have that shimmer. Excuse me. So you can see I'm just adding dark to the inside of the petals. And you can see how it's going to be shaded, how it's going to become shaded. Very nice. Yep. And so you're going to continue doing that for each flower. So for this peony-like flower, I used Bermuda Bay. And then for these flowers, I used Daffodil Delight. And then for these flowers, I used Mango Melody. And then I used Granny Apple Green for all the leaves around it. Then I just wrapped some ribbon around the card and stamped Happy Birthday. And that's how I created this watercolor card using embossing and an aqua painter and the Stampin' Up inks. So thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed learning how to create a card like this. If you would like to purchase the stamp set, which is Breathtaking Bouquet, you can go to my website, elainescreations.net, and you can click on Shop Now, enter the hostess code that you saw, this hostess code, and I will send you a free gift. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thanks. Bye.